नमस्ते। आप सभी का स्वागत है आज के इस कार्यक्रम में। और आज हमारे साथ हैं आशा जडेजा मोटवानी जी यूएसए से, और साथ में विभूति झा जी हैं। और हम बात करेंगे कुछ ये यूएसए में क्या हो रहा है, यूएसए इंडिया रिलेशंस आगे कैसे चलेंगे, इत्यादि इत्यादि। और जो हमारे भारतीय मूल के जो पिक्स हैं रिपब्लिकन पार्टी के, उनसे हमें क्या आशाएं रखनी चाहिए। तो मैं चलता हूँ विभूति जी। आप कुछ इससे पहले कहना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि आप भी वहीं से हैं, तो आप भी बता सकते हैं हमें कि साहब की यू आर ए रिपब्लिकन।
Yes, I am. I
आशा जी का मुझे पता नहीं, वेयर आर यू आशा जी दीस डेज?
So, as I said earlier, Sanjay, I've been a Democrat for almost 40 years now, but I think I'm shifting to the center right, and the reason for that is I do believe that unfettered market-led growth, is okay, but which party is really helping address the needs of the people at the bottom of the pyramid, and that is Republican Party now. What has happened is that the Democratic Party has, as we all know, has become a party of the elite. The Republican Party still very much, is in touch with the needs of the working class, the blue collar, the people at the bottom of the pyramid. So I really respect that, and I want to be part of that momentum. So yeah, I think I'm shifting towards center right now. I don't know if that means I'm becoming Republican, but definitely shifting to center right. You know.
यस, आई थिंक दैट्स हाउ इट हैपेंस। ऐसे ही होता है ना। आप भी तो पहले डेमोक्रेट थे
Yes, yes, yes.
विभूति जी।
I was also a Democrat when I came here. Started then when I got slight wisdom, then I became independent, and then when I got more wisdom, I became Republican. Just as Asha said just now, that it is very fascinating to hear from you, Asha, because you have been deeply involved in the American way of life, and you have seen how, as an investor, as a major player developing industries around you, you have seen that Democrat is the Republican Party which is taking care of people, and that's what is remarkable shift that has happened. And the Democratic Party has become the party of elites. So this is a very remarkable shift in American politics, and that's what is made Trump you know successful, even cutting across almost all electoral categories: women, Gen Z, millennials, and the way he presented himself in conversations with many podcasters. So that's what was fascinating about this 2024 election, that how, as the recent publication has a report says, that Kamala Harris's own internal polling never showed that they were winning, but the
इज
media
इट?
was. Yeah, her
ओके।
own guy who deleted all his tweets has come back to say, reinstated the tweets and said that our internal polling never suggested that we were leading and winning, but the mainstream media was conveying that. That means, implication wise, and Asha can comment on that. Implication wise, they defrauded the voters or the donors, that she was leading, whereas she was not. So that's a major scenario that has happened. The Democratic Party has ended up or is ending up as an untrustworthy party, while they profess preaching to the choir that, oh, we are the most trusted people of the whole thing. Asha, your take on that?
Well, I feel that the Democratic Party has been captured by the far left, Vibhuti.
Yes.
I have nothing but respect and warmth for Kamala and for Biden.
Right.
And I like them as people, and I think they have done their best. They mean well, but they're not in charge. The people in charge are faceless bureaucrats who are, who are ideologically driven. They are very much the woke far left people, and it has caused a havoc in the Democratic Party. It has got a lot of people to leave the Democratic Party at a time when it needs all of us actually, but it's people have run away because there is no way to talk to people in especially the people who are holding power there. And so it's become a party of complete intolerance of the elite. It has captured, of course, it has captured academia. It has captured the intellectuals, the intelligentsia, and It has. I don't think it has. I disagree with you, Vibhuti, that they have defrauded the donors. I don't think so, because a lot of even the polls outside of the Democratic Party did say that Kamala and Trump were running, neck to neck in the elections. There was, and they did actually. At the end of the day, it's not that much of a difference in the, in the popular vote. But that said, what they did was that, uh, again, as let's call them deep state for the lack of a better term, the people who were running the bureaucracy, let's call it the deep state. The faceless bureaucrats, the far left, which was running the Democratic Party, had definitely played a role in not only this immigration scam that they pulled off, but they had been speaking about the fact that they were going to win. Actually, internally, the conversation there was, and once even Kamala Harris spoke about this. She said, "We are going to win." And why was there that level of confidence, even when Biden had not yet dropped out? That level of confidence was there because they knew that these 15 million or so illegal immigrants who came in, and other immigrants who were there, they were going to be signed up without a voter ID to go and vote in these swing states. And I am horrified that there was this level of election meddling that was happening by faceless bureaucrats in the Democratic Party. Those are the people I'm scared of. I still have respect and warmth for Kamala and Joe Biden. I know that they did their best to get the jobs back into the manufacturing economy and stuff like that. Biden also tried to do his best to play a role in the two of the major wars going on right now. I have regard for them, but they had absolutely no control on the far left that had taken over the machinery. And the Democratic Party lost because of this, because people figured out that this was what's going on. And thankfully, Trump's team had Elon Musk on his side. So along with the podcasts and a powerful platform like X, we could speak about the truth without fear that there would be retribution from the Democratic insiders. So if once there was truth telling, there was no way the Democrats were going to win.
That
So
was a very
Correct.
powerful statement. I just wanted to add a clarification that the use of word defraud is not mine. It is what has been reported,
okay.
that it tantamounts to defrauding the donors. Because I remember one of the programs that we did together, you had also expressed your dissatisfaction that we are not able to connect with the people who are we are donating, but we are not able to connect with the right people. And your apprehension about the deep state or whoever the bureaucracy controlling Biden and Kamala is actually the concern which people had. Sanjay ji, go ahead. Yeah, just wanted.
Yes, actually, in India, people were rather looking forward to having a Republican government. The sentiment in India was more for the Republican, because the impression here was that somehow the Democrats were anti India, and that got consolidated, that impression got strengthened after they meddled in Bangladesh and brought down the government and
And
uh,
and Sanjay, let me
put
mention
in
that
put
in
in
the
a puppet.
correct the Indians there had the right inclination, had a right inkling that something was off with the Democratic Party. The inside the machinery. Remember, the Democratic Party has 2-3 layers. The deeper guys who are in there are the ones who are they are hands down anti-India, and we are trying to figure out why this is so. How do we reach them? Can we engage them to find out why they are so anti-India? And I just have a feeling that this is an ideologically captured far left team deep within the Democratic Party who hates Modi, and they are they are deeply steeped in that conversation about, oh, Indian democracy is failing, and that there is human rights violations going on, which is not true, because numbers wise India is a strong, robust democracy. Modi had a beating in the last election, and that the per million number of incidents of violence against any minorities is lower than most other countries. So what are we talking about the human rights violations? So, but that narrative is being spread by the deep state within the Democratic Party, and by the deep state I mean really the few bureaucrats who are in the State Department, perhaps few in defense also, who are there for a long time. They've been part of the Afghan-Pakistan area ecosystem for a long time. These are old Pakistan friends, old Pakistan hands, and they've always been anti-Modi. And as a result, their vitriol about India overall talks about all these things which are not true. Yeah, but so Sanjay, you are absolutely right, and I think the Indians have an inkling, that gut feeling the Indians had, that Republicans are better for us. I think it's absolutely spot on.
Is it borne out by the picks that Trump made? What,
Yes.
what do the Indians have to hope for? What is the optimism for them?
Well, so number one, there is a look at the bill sponsored by Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio sponsored a pro-India bill, which unfortunately has been sitting around, hasn't been approved. It will be approved very soon now. Look at that bill. I'm going to send it to you, Sanjay and Vibhuti, later on. But that bill, if you read the language of that bill, it is so pro-India. And if Marco Rubio is going to be the Secretary of State, and he's the author of that bill, I mean, this is a dream come true for the Modi team. So number
Can you
one,
please elucidate on that a little bit?
okay, let me just I'm going to actually open up that bill, if you don't mind.
Sure, please.
If you Google it also, it will be there.
So Marco Rubio's pro-India, plus there are
So
three Indians.
as we keep talking, the main thing is, right now we have Marco Rubio. Number one, he is absolutely hands down the most pro-India guy that we can imagine. Number one. Number two, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is and nothing to do with Hinduism or anything. Tulsi, remember, she's not Indian. Tulsi's parents
Yes,
are
yes, she's American. She's Hawaiian.
she's Hawaiian. Not only that, mother is white, father is Samoan. There's no Indian situation in there. The DNA is something else. Is Hawaiian, but yes, she's a Hindu, and so the thing is that what's critical here is that so we have two card-carrying members of the new Trump administration who are hands down unapologetic India fans, and these are powerful people, the two most powerful people, Tulsi Gabbard and Marco Rubio. If these two are in place, I mean, we have an unfair advantage. There's no doubt about it. So in that sense,
What are the chances of Tulsi getting stuck at the Senate?
no, she won't. Tulsi is a decorated member of the U.S. Armed Forces. There is no way there's going to be a little bit maybe of pushback from some people on the especially those in the left. But that said, I mean, this whole smear campaign about her being a Russian asset. I mean, that's madness. That's lunacy. And those people should be ashamed of themselves. Um, I'm shocked that Deborah Wasserman, who has been
Yeah.
making these statements about her being a Russian asset, should be ashamed of herself. This is a decorated army person of U.S. Army. How do you smear somebody like that with such talent and such grace and such service to the nation? So I'm ashamed of Debbie Wasserman for saying that. But that said, there could be a little bit of pushback on Tulsi Gabbard's confirmation, yes, but I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about it.
Just to add to that,
Yeah.
Adam Schiff, the California new senator, actually said that it is not her patriotism is not in doubt. She's not a Russian asset, but she made bad judgment. Adam Schiff is a very clever guy, knows how to use his words. Having said that, but Tulsi also has transitioned like you and me, Asha, from a Democrat to Republican. So, so Democrats have a reason to be upset with her because she took on the Democratic machinery very hands-on, including Hillary, including Kamala. So, and she called them out. I mean, I don't know if you have read her book, but I read her book, Why I Left the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible story. I would put it that way that, once any Democrat reads it, he will begin to wonder, why am I with supporting this party? Just as you felt that, Biden and Kamala were not controlling the party, but it was some people who were, some bureaucrats or some people who were managing the whole system. That said,
Just excuse
yeah,
me one sec, but any Democrat representative, a Democrat rep criticizing Tulsi Gabbard would be expected. So why should that worry anybody
Yeah,
about
I agree
Tulsi's
that.
prospects clearing the Senate?
I think the Democrats resisting is not the issue. I just hope that there's nobody from the Republican Party who is, but what to hoga for each of these candidates? There, listen, there is a whole group setting coming up out of the Democratic Party now, which calls itself the Resistance. These are a bunch of loonies, I think. As in my book, there are a bunch of loonies who don't respect the fact that America has spoken. America has spoken and asked for what it wants. And this, if this is not respected, the Democrats are going to be beaten up even the next time. But that said, I found the bill that Marco Rubio introduced.
Okay.
That
Okay.
I will just quickly run through it. Rubio introduces bill to strengthen U.S.-India security partnership. The U.S.-India partnership is vital to countering influences from communist China. In order to strengthen this partnership, it is essential to enhance our strategic, diplomatic, economic, and military relationship with New Delhi. U.S. Senator Marco Rubio introduced the US India Defense Cooperation Act. For those of you in your audience who are listening to this, just Google it. The US India Defense Cooperation Act, which is sitting there right now on rubio.senate.gov, G-O-V. Uspe, you will find this, the entire language of the bill. Then it goes into sort of saying why we are pushing back on communist China and why India is crucial for this. But what Rubio is saying is that communist China continues to aggressively expand its domain in the Indo-Pacific region, all while it seeks to impede the sovereignty and autonomy of our regional partners. It's crucial for the US to continue its support in countering these malicious tactics. India, along with other nations in the region, is not alone. He is there is I mean there's really strong language in this that Rubio has put it's and it's all publicly available.
right.
The key thing right now is that we have two phenomenal people who are incredible India fans, and that's just two. I don't even know the other folks, but those of us who are in the inner circle of people like Ramaswamy and Elon Musk from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, what about this smear campaign that is going on against Tulsi Gabbard about her being a member of ISKCON?
Yeah, they're calling it a cult. They're calling it a cult simply because she has been singing some songs about Hare Krishna and stuff like that. And so that it listen, a smear campaign, Sanjay, is a smear campaign. It's based on taking a little bit of truth, mixing it up, muddying it up with other nonsense, with lies and disinformation, and then spreading it. And these people should be ashamed of themselves on doing doing this against Tulsi, a decorated army official. So uh, but that I think this will be fought back. I mean, listen, right now the horsepower that we have, the real horsepower that we have in the Republican Party right now are Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. The brilliance of these two men and the power they wield in their thinking and in their reach is going to be critical in not only defending some of these good candidates that Trump has put together. By the way, I'm thrilled that Matt Gates left, because that would have caused unnecessary drama, and I think Pam Bondi is a good second best choice, and I'm glad Gates left. But I think there is listen right now the universe is aligned behind Trump, and in fact, Trump and India. It's aligned behind US India in every way. And we are going to see more and more of this strengthening of the collaboration. We are going to see more and more back and forth between the Americans and the Indians. It's already happening. I mean, you look at the number of people that are just daily going back and forth. I keep hearing about, contingents of people from Washington, D.C., a huge group of journalists going to India, massive group of business people going to India, and India se itne nahi aate. From India, I don't see that much of a sort of business groups coming from India into America, but that's probably because it's already happening on its own organically, but it's not state sponsored. But state sponsored visits by Americans to India are just are enormous right now, and they're growing by the day. And this is going to be, hugely accelerated in the Trump administration. So we are actually looking at unprecedented good times. I would strongly recommend, Sanjay, as time goes by, that you start a series which talks about what happens when two of the most powerful democracies of the planet come together for the first time in history. Remember, we are coming together for the first time in history,
For
officially.
first time, not in
Yes,
the previous Trump era.
not
But
much.
I'm delighted to hear that word from you. The most powerful democracy. Sanjay ji knows about it. He and I have talked about that the world's two most prominent democracies, they have to come together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the leftist forces will take over the world. And I'm so proud and so happy to hear what you said, because for the first ever time, I have read Rubio's bill, because Rubio is a very, very great character. I've followed him, I've read his bill, and I said, this is the first ever time that India and the United States will actually live up to the two definitions of strategic partners and natural allies that will fructify in this administration. And this is a testament to Trump's vision and
Yes.
equity, that he has brought three prominent India lovers in his cabinet. And there are other people who are there,
Well, Elon and Vivek
who are
Ramaswamy,
all, yeah, yeah,
those
absolutely,
two,
absolutely.
those two are major India, card-carrying India cheerleaders. Elon Musk is a huge India cheerleader. So we are in good shape. This is never. It couldn't have got better than this.
I
I
have,
have,
sorry, Sanjay ji, you go ahead, then I will follow up. Yeah.
yes, I have one little nagging doubt. All this lighting of fires in the transition period,
Right.
how's that going to be tackled? Because it seems that the Democrats, especially the far left kind, they are intent on lighting every fire possible, including dragging America into a nuclear conflict.
They will try. Listen, this whole idea of sort of, getting long range missiles fired from Ukraine into Russia is a provocation that shouldn't have happened. And it is, I bet you it wasn't green lighted by Biden. Biden is not there anymore. Remember, his mind has left him. He's not there. So who authorized the use of long range missiles, American made long range missiles from Ukraine to Russia? Who did this? Somebody has to ask that question. Who from the Pentagon or from the Defense Ministry did this? And we don't know. That's the problem. That is the problem. This is faceless, deep bureaucracy people who are running the. If you ask right now, if you ask, Biden about who authorized it, he'll ask you, where is Russia? Right? I mean, he's lost it. So he's not there. So who authorized this kind of a dangerous, escalation in the Ukrainian war? And that, if we don't have that answer, that for me is the scariest part.
Well, coming back to the topic of the targeting, Biden not being in control, Tulsi is being targeted for sure. Vivek Ramaswamy was attacked for his Hinduness. And now you have Nikki Haley from Republican Party who cast doubt on Tulsi Gabbard. Nikki Haley, of all people,
Shameful. Shameful.
so
Yeah.
shameful for her to do that.
Yeah.
And I saw a video in which Tulsi, true to her style, she shred her to pieces completely in her videos. That
Mm.
said, there is one concerning report that came out, which I saw it myself, that Washington Post sent a correspondent, one of their investigative reporter, to write about Tulsi's cult relationship with her foundation that she's running for consciousness, and that Prabhupada and Vaishnav affiliation that she has. They are going to do a report on her, saying that she's part of a cult, and that whatever she's doing as a foundation is some kind of an, as the Washington Post storyline goes, as some kind of an evil thing.
Just
Yeah.
to add,
Yeah.
is this whole thing about ISKCON being branded a terrorist organization is related to all this?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, Sanjay. It is. This is the issue right now. This is what the democratic internal machinery has done. So there is a connection, number one, between Gaza, between Bangladesh, between the deep state, or whatever you want to call it, within the State Department, and this whole idea of sort of demonizing Hinduism through demonizing things like ISKCON. It's all connected. These are people. These are people talking to each other on WhatsApp groups every day. These are toxic people who we need to fight off. And I want you guys to know that wait till February. I won't mention any names right now, but wait till February. We will have entered uh, the uh, the inner workings of what's happening in New York Times, Wall Street Journal, perhaps, economists, and understand that whole situation much better. And we are going to make sure that anybody there that is involved in demonizing, vilifying India is engaged with, and we work on those forces. We're
So,
doing a proper outreach. Yeah.
so good to hear that, because the Washington Post attack on Tulsi is harboring on that kind of a total low level of journalism that we are seeing today. I
Yeah.
mean, what was gratifying for me is that Mark Zuckerberg went to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Trump. You had Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski go to Trump to meet. And you know it, we all know it here, that as MSNBC is out for sale by, by Comcast, and CNN has tanked in its review. So they are all total. The world knows in America that they are no longer worth watching. And Joe Scarborough and this fellow almost apologize. I follow Bill Maher, and there is a guy called Stephen Smith, a sports commentator, a black guy. Stephen Smith is a funny guy. Both of them are Democrats. You must watch their podcast yesterday. How two Democrat Party lovers were lamenting how party lost out. And that's something for everybody to watch. But one more thing which I wanted to ask you here is that, are we going to be targeted by Democratic Party? Because the reason why Democratic Party got angry with Modi was the Houston Howdy Modi, in which Modi almost tantamounted to endorsement Ab Ki Baar Modi's Trump Sarkar. And then it was followed by a massive show off in Ahmedabad Stadium. That was again big. I know a couple of senators and congressmen, they were, to use the American slang, pissed off with Modi. And they wanted to teach him a lesson.
They always were.
Yeah,
When did they ever
right.
support Modi? They were
Fair enough.
always pissed
Fair
off.
enough. Fair enough. So tell us something about that part.
So I'll tell you what, Vibhuti and Sanjay, be aware of the fact that the hatred towards the Jews, first of all, within the US has created a machinery now. Okay, there's an existing machinery within the Democratic Party, not so much in the Republicans. In the Democratic machinery, there's a bureaucratic and media machinery at work against the Jews. What is happening now is swap out the word Jews for Hindus, and they're piggybacking on that powerful machinery of disinformation which is already in place. So this is the issue right now, that the people who are smearing Hindus and Hinduism and India and Modi and so on are the same people who are anti-Semitic, Jew-hating, people within the bureaucracy, especially within the State Department. And they're also deeply connected to academia. They are connected to some of these corporate DEI programs and so on. But it's a machinery, and a lot of time, I just saw something, in fact, on on my email just now, about how people have been using DEI training to demonize and smear Hindus. And people like Equality Labs have infiltrated the DEI training and have actually got these handbooks which talk about Jews and Hindus in one breath. And they talk about both of them being oppressive groups, widely successful in the US because we are oppressive groups. They call all of us Brahmins. I mean, it is a smear campaign which is well funded. And, it's the same people who introduced the caste bill, if you remember,
Right.
equality. Yeah, the same people. So they are at it. They are at it. But what's interesting is that they have infiltrated the DEI bureaucracy. They've infiltrated the DEI mechanisms which are in corporate world now, which where from which they are smearing the Hindus. And it's very sad that this is going on. It's pure lies. It's disinformation, and it's a shame that they're doing that. And we'll expose them. I mean, there is no way that these entities are so morally corrupt. Places, people, the groups like equality labs are so morally corrupt in the level of disinformation they're spreading. They're going to lose, of course. It's just that we, instead of enjoying our lives and having a nice martini and whatever, a sandwich, instead of that, what we are doing is we are having to fight this disinformation. That's the problem. But that said, let's face it, we are a wildly successful group, and money can get a lot of things done. We are investing heavily in fighting this rhetoric.
Just one more question about Tulsi. Why are these people so scared about Tulsi becoming the director of national intelligence? What do they fear?
Because if Tulsi is in charge, what's going to happen is, as Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy come up with their plan of reducing government bloat in everything from FBI to CIA to maybe some some aspects of Defense Department, is they try and reduce the unchecked spending that's happening in some of these departments. Tulsi's nod is going to be crucial in moving things forward. I think that's the fear, that as head of intelligence, as somebody in that position of power, if people wanted to pull the plug on certain verticals within FBI, her nod, her assent is going to be crucial, and it will just accelerate everything. It's a powerful combo with Vivek, Musk, Tulsi, these guys, and Marco. These four people batting for what's important, what's moral, and the right thing to do. These people are scared. A lot of people are going to be gone. In a few minutes, I'll have to leave, Sanjay. But any other questions?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing.
about Jay
One thing she has
Bhattacharya.
been.
Go on, Sanjay.
Jay Bhattacharya.
Jay Bhattacharya is phenomenal. He's he's an outlier in this whole health debate. He's a very solid Stanford professor, medical doctor, and somebody that we all trust here at Stanford. And in the past he was vilified because he went against Dr. Fauci, and he said that we don't need to have these draconian measures of school shutdowns, which will affect our children, and it will create mental health issues that we are all seeing now. He was one of the few voices of reason who spoke about this many years ago. I mean, during the pandemic, especially, and he was absolutely chewed up by the left and said, "How dare he go against Dr. Fauci?" But now the data is showing that Jay Bhattacharya was right. So Trump has done very well in getting Jay Bhattacharya to help RFK Jr. And hopefully they will be able to, reboot some of the health initiatives here and get, American health under control. People right now, U.S. is suffering from unprecedented levels of, chronic diseases, and I think between 4 or 5 people in RFK's team, we'll see progress towards what RFK calls making America healthy again.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
I just wanted to ask you one last thing about it, that one of the accusations on, like the chorus with Elizabeth Warren, a couple of other people in Democratic Party say that she is a Russian asset. Tulsi is a Russian asset. But the points that she has actually made resonates with the famous Russian expert Stephen Cohen,
Mm-hmm.
who advised many presidents to do that. So will that hold? Will that accusation hold in the confirmation hearing?
I don't think so, Vibhuti. It is just going to be a headache for Tulsi and for the Trump team. But I think Tulsi's position on Ukraine of sort of, look, she wanted us to stay off Ukraine to some extent. She didn't want us investing this heavily in Ukraine. And that's Trump's position too, which is to say that Europe should bear the cost of the Ukraine war, not America. And that position did not hold well with many on the left, the Democratic Party, and she's going to be punished for that. It'll be a headache for her, but she'll have to go through that.
Right.
Thank
So
you very
thank you
much.
very much, Asha ji.
Thank
We
you.
can
Thank
now
you. Good to
let
see you.
you go.
See you both. Yes.
Yes,
All
indeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
विभूति जी, अब आप
अच्छा हो
बताइए
गया साहब?
ये कैसे चलेगा? अभी वी आर स्टिल ऑन रिकॉर्डिंग फर्दर, थोड़ी बहुत आपसे भी बात कर लें.
Let's do that. Why not? इसमें देखिए दो चीजें हैं. What I feel is that Tulsi will get confirmed because Democratic Party की जो tradition रही है ना, उन लोगों ने इतने घटिया लोगों को बनाया था. This particular admin that Biden was not in control. You and I know about it. We have talked
लेकिन
about it.
अजीब अजीब चीजें होती है ना.
Somebody
अभी आपके इनकी जो हाउस की जो स्ट्रेंथ है वो 220 पे आके रुक गई शायद.
हाँ,
और क्योंकि कैलिफोर्निया में 20 दिन के बाद अचानक और
Counting
वोट
चल
आ
रहा है.
गए आपके कि
Even
आप लोगों के जो है वो इलेक्शन प्रोसेस गजब है साहब. मतलब पूरी
अब
दुनिया में
ऐसा
ऐसा
है
कहीं नहीं है.
कि Elon Musk also commented on that India counted 640 million votes in one day, and California is still counting vote on the 15th day. अभी तक जब भी था.
18th डे उस दिन था. 18th डे
18th. So it has been it is मैंने कहा हुआ ना कि American Democratic Party has single-handedly
पूरा
made
फ्रॉड है.
American
आधे से ज्यादा तो फ्रॉड है ये पूरा.
American democracy non-exportable item. कोई बात ही नहीं कर सकते. क्या बात करेंगे आप American democracy का? वोटर आईडी नहीं होगा, everybody is laughing at you, and you are no longer in that position.
अच्छा ये बताइए, ये वोटर आईडी वाली जो बात है तो इसमें क्या फेडरल गवर्नमेंट कोई वोटर आईडी का कोई लॉ ला सकती है क्या?
हाँ, ला सकती है. देखिए यहाँ पे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग सा फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है. स्टेट कैन डू वट एवर दे वॉन्ट अबाउट इलेक्शन, देयर रूल्स वट एवर. फेडरल जहां तक आता है तो यू हैव टू फॉलो फेडरल लॉज. ये था नहीं अभी तक. As of now, states ran their own process. The state can disqualify you and I, but state cannot disqualify you and I for federal election. And what they were going to do was, वो क्या करने वाले थे, जो आशा कह रही थी कि 15 मिलियन का जो कॉन्फिडेंस था वो वोट हमको आएगा, वो जो चौपट हो गया इसलिए क्योंकि इस बार आई फील गुड अबाउट इट. लारा ट्रंप को हमने ये लिखा था कि दिस टाइम यू हैव रिप्लेस्ड रोना मैकडैनियल, who was Mitt Romney's relation daughter. Ronna McDaniel के हटाने के बाद जब Laura Trump took over the party machinations, I said to her only one thing: just make sure that no illegitimate votes are counted, no unnecessary illegal votes are made. And she did a great job. Because everywhere the way Trump won was more than लाखों से ज्यादा वोट से जीता. As a result of which आप वो ऐसा नहीं था कि आप 10,000 वोट पलट के डाल दो. अभी जो कैलिफोर्निया में, पेंसिल्वेनिया में हो रहा था वो वही हो रहा है. वोट जो आ रहे हैं वो सारे के सारे डेमोक्रेट को जा रहे हैं. तो देयर इज एन ऑड सिचुएशन हियर, नो डाउट. लेकिन अब जो है लोग कॉशियस हो गए हैं, लोग समझने लगे हैं कि ये फ्रॉड हो रहा है. तो डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी को बड़ी लात लगी है इस बात पे. इलीगल वोट्स नहीं आए, वो 15 मिलियन वोट नहीं आए. वो देखिए नंबर आप 2020 में बाइडेन गॉट 15 मिलियन वोट्स एक्स्ट्रा देन ट्रम्प. वो वोट इस बार गायब हो गया. कोई नहीं ढूंढ रहा है वोट कहाँ गए. सो डेमोक्रेटिक पार्टी की क्रेडिबिलिटी इतनी कम हो गई है कि इवन डेमोक्रेट्स आर अशेम्ड ऑफ देमसेल्व्स. दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू से. दिस हैज बीन ट्रम्प इफेक्ट. बाय द वे, अगर आप अभी यूएस का पॉलिटिकल मैप
ये
देखेंगे,
एक ये है कि ये जो बांग्लादेश हिंदुओं के साथ ये हो रहा है तो कोई रिपब्लिकन पार्टी का कोई बिग विग पहले तो बोले थे लेकिन अभी कुछ बोल नहीं रहे हैं. व्हाई इज इट दैट?
देखिए ऐसा है कि कभी कभी दो चीजें होती हैं. ट्रम्प ने तो बोला, ट्रम्प एज द इनकम
इलेक्शन से पहले ही बोला था.
हाँ,
30 अक्टूबर को बोला था वो. 30 या 31 अक्टूबर.
he said as a candidate he didn't care for the Muslim votes at that time. उसके जीतने के बाद there was some Chaudhry fellow, whether from Bangladesh or Pakistan, I do not know. He made a statement that we regret voting for Trump because his policies are not going to change. And I questioned him. I asked him, where is the proof, where is the evidence that you voted?
हाँ, वो तो हम यही करते हैं, ये तो हमेशा ये कोई भी हो, ये कहेंगे हाँ हमने जो जीता उसी के लिए वोट दिया।
तो उसके लिए वोट दिया। तो वो लोग भी अब दिखा रहे
अरे
हैं।
इंडिया में तो चलता नहीं है, इंडिया में ये ब्लफ पकड़ा जाता है, क्योंकि यहाँ तो एवरी बूथ इज रिकॉर्डेड, हर
That's
बूथ पे
right.
पता है आपको किसने कहाँ वोट दिया है।
That's right. Right. That's right. और तुलसी के बारे में एक बात कहूंगा मैं उसको कि because she is a sudden entrant in Republican Party, the Democrats want to, just as she destroyed Kamala Harris, just as she took out Hillary Clinton, just as she took on military industrial complex, she has invited enemies. And there are very formidable enemies against her. So Hillary Clinton will be really annoyed if Tulsi is confirmed. And yeah,
oversight of CIA,
yeah,
FBI,
exactly. Think about it. Think about it.
military intelligence,
Exactly.
everything.
She would
27
be afraid.
27 or 17? How many?
Benghazi file na khul jaye kahin. She would be afraid of that. Hillary would be afraid of that. But anyway, that matter was closed by at that time administration. That's right. Right. So this is very fascinating.
तो आइए आज की चर्चा को यहीं पर विराम देते हैं। सभी दर्शकों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू। और मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ ये प्रोग्राम जयपुर डायलॉग और जयपुर डायलॉग यूएसए दोनों पे ही देखें, दोनों पे ही साइमलकास्ट होगा। थैंक यू।
ये आपको शुरू में बोलना चाहिए था, एंड में तो कोई फायदा नहीं बोलने से।
नहीं, एंड में भी लोग देखेंगे क्योंकि शुरुआत तो आपने की थी ना। राइट, चलिए।
ओके सर, गुड नाइट।
थैंक यू।